What is up, Sooner Nation? I am Casey Mallon, and you are now, come on, baby, I'm in a Sooner state of mind. Make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and Amazon Music. This Thanksgiving holiday, why not head to the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting, Bet Online. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with constant real-time odds and action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC and boxing. Head to the website today to see why BetOnline is America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here. Sooner state of mind, family, what is good? You know, I spent a little time on the mountain, spent a little time on the hill. Things went down we don't understand, but I think in time we will. You know what I do understand? Is that the Sooners put an absolute beat down on Alabama last Saturday. 24-3. How good does that feel, Sooner Nation? Yum, yum, yum. That is good stuff. Wow. I don't think anybody saw that coming. We thought we could win. Did we think we would? Probably not, but that is why they play the game. And when we did, and I love the way it went down, complete domination, beat the crap out of the Tide, 24-3. Yum. Held them to 234 total yards, 164 pass yards, and just 70 yards rushing. Come on. Almost 10 more minutes in time of possession and 257 rush yards for those Sooners. Oh, baby. You know, we talked about going into this game for the Sooners to have any chance. I had to start with containing Jalen Milroe. And that cat had come in his last three. We mentioned it last week. 29 carries, 278 yards, almost 10 yards a carry, and 6 touchdowns. Against our Sooners, 15 carries, 7 yards, or 0.5 yards per carry. How sweet is that? Contain them. And it started, first play, Stuts coming out and just blasting Milroe early, setting the tone. Now, they did score a field goal on that drive, but that would be the last points they scored, kept them out of the end zone. And as a team, I mentioned it, only 70 yards rushing. That was on 30 carries, 2.3 per carry. That is getting it done by that defense. Maybe the best defensive performance in the BV era. That's not going out on a limb to say that. Defense was absolutely lights out in that game. Eli Bowen, baby. What you know about that? Kip Lewis, what you know about that? The Sooners were fired up. They tackled well, kept Milroe absolutely contained, and just lit those fool up, man. They had no answers for the Sooners. Biggest play they gave up on the night was 32 yards, and I think that was on that first possession. Ryan Williams, everything. 2 grabs, 37 yards. Alabama might want to cry about that touchdown. Give him that touchdown, 24-10, in your face, in your stupid face, okay? But they didn't get that touchdown. So no touchdowns for Bama. Defense, absolutely lights out. Could not be more impressed. Plenty of playmakers everywhere. Ethan Downs had a couple nice plays. All the guys up front, Dejan, Williams, but my guy. And after this performance that he put down this season, is there any way we can get R. Mason Thomas to come back for one more year? I don't know, man. Especially with how Nick Bonito is really coming to his own in the NFL. The word already might be out on this dude, and it might be too much for him to come back for one more year. But, oh, man, if he does, it is starting to come together for that guy. When we have the opponent in an obvious passing situation, this dude is unstoppable, man. That bend and that freaky speed. Love watching this guy play. He's finally getting healthy, and that is paying off, and it's fun. It's fun to watch. And fun to watch has not been a phrase associated with this Sooners offense for most of the year, but that was not the case on Saturday night. This was a game that it kind of all came together for them finally. And a big part of that was true freshman Xavier Robinson, man. Completely stoked for this cat moving forward on the night. 18 carries, 107 yards, almost 6 yards a carry. That's one 100-yard rusher on the Sooners. Could there be two? Hell yeah, there was two. JFA, Jackson Arnold, 25 carries, 131 yards, and that was over 5 yards a carry. Didn't get a lot out of the pass game. 9 out of 11 for 68 yards, but no interceptions, no turnovers. That's what we asked him to do, and he executed the game plan to perfection. Why throw when you're running for 6 yards a clip? I mean, the Sooners had 50 carries in this thing. 257 yards, baby. Over 5 yards a carry. That's what I'm talking about. Don't throw when you can run. And not only did they run well, Jackson Arnold made some really good decisions back there. Made a couple tough throws when he had to, but stuck with the game plan, took care of the ball. And when you're not having a bunch of penalties and you're not having a bunch of turnovers, good things happen. And that was on full display on Saturday night. No one thought we could do it. 13.5-point dogs at home. Bama comes in and gets the beat down. And, you know, you also got to give it up for the offensive line. They've been maligned all year, and they've struggled. But the last few weeks, it's really started to come together. They're getting healthy up front, getting some cohesion. Who knows how many different starting lineups they have, but those boys played their asses off on Saturday night, and they dominated Bama in the trenches on both sides of the ball. But I'm just so proud of the offensive line, man. It's been such a struggle for them all year to come out and have that type of success against a quality opponent. Just beautiful, beautiful football. It looked like BB out there. It looked like the product that he's put out there. So stoked for BB, stoked for all these cats. The young bloods got some reps too. It's going to be great experience, but they got the ball with just under 7 minutes left in this game in the fourth quarter, and that was a wrap. Bama never touched the ball again. Last play of the game, Casey Thompson coming in to take a knee. Victory formation. Sooners win. And I'm not sure there's another game that I would swap out for this one all year. If we could get a win in a game that we lost and substitute for this game to lose, hell no, I'll take it. Yeah, it's fun to kick the shit out of Texas, but we do that all the time. How often has Bama been to Norman? Not very often. And now we're up 4-2 on the Tide. Just it couldn't have come at a better time. I know a season-saving win might be a little over the top, but I don't think it's over the top. That's exactly what this was. Had a bunch of recruits in the house. They saw what this team is capable of, and the team itself found out what it was capable of. You know, BV and the company's been preaching the message all year and haven't gotten the results that they wanted. These were the results that staff knew this team was capable of, and it all came to fruition on Saturday night. And it's been a while since Stoke levels were rising like this, but they were high tide, baby. Stoke levels, high tide. Oh, what a game. Just waking up feeling so good. Like we've had wins this year, but nothing that felt as good as this. And we might have sent those Cats packing. No playoff appearance for Alabama. And, it does make you think, what if on this year, which is natural, a couple more wins, and who knows what we're talking about now, a little healthier, who knows. Even in this game, Brennan Thompson goes down. That's all of our receivers. We thought we might have Burks and Farouk back in this one. So it's not a surprise that Arnold struggled when he did, and that the team struggled on offense as it has. Just so many injuries, especially at one position. Like when your depth gets hit like that, it's tough to overcome. But these boys fought back, and they fought their asses off. And, the seniors go out with a statement win. Billy Bowman, Spencer Brown, Ethan Downs, Luke Elzinga, Farouk, Hickman, Keltner, Ethan, Des Malone, Major Nelson, Plaster, Jake Roberts, Schmitty, Sears, Michael Tarquin, Dejan, put it in reverse, Terry, Casey Thompson, Old Man Woolard, Danny freaking Stutsman. What a way to go out. Fruit could come back. I'm not sure if any of those other cats have any eligibility left, but senior night at the Palace. Number 7, Alabama comes into town, and you kick the crap out of them and send them back to Tuscaloosa with the tails tucked. That is what I am talking about, baby. Great win. Great win, and it just feels so good. Speaking of Danny Stutsman, we talked about last week how he is finally got into the top 10 of all-time tacklers at OU. Well, earlier in the week, we found out that he's been named a Butkus Award finalist, given to the best linebacker in the nation. Barrett Carter of Clemson, Chris Paul, Ole Miss, Carson Schweisinger of UCLA, and Jalen Walker of Georgia. Give it to my man Stutz. It's been great on and off the field. Says the right things, does the right things, leads the right way. 100 tackles, 8 TFLs, and a sack. 3rd season in a row with at least 100 tackles. Leading this 23rd ranked OU defense, giving up just over 20 points a game, 16 in yards per game. And Stutz and Bowman coming back is a big part of it, but specifically Stutsman, man. He's a heartbeat. He's a leader. He leads by example. He lets his play do the talking. And what I'm hearing from that play is Butkus Award winner. OU has had 3 people win it. The Boz, Rocky Kalmus, and Teddy Lehman. It should be a 4th. And is it too crazy to say we want a Danny Stutsman statue outside the Palace? It's not crazy to me. I know they didn't win a natty with him, but it's not due to lack of effort by Stutsman. It's not due to a lack of work by that cat. Just so stoked that we got to enjoy this career for him. He's obviously going to take it to the next level, but his contributions to the program will reverberate long after he's gone. And I said it, he will be one of the most beloved Sooners ever. He's jumping right up to the top. So it'd be very fitting for him to get this award. Big part of OU's success was the domination in that run game. But that doesn't change the fact we're going to be looking for an OC. And BV had a couple thoughts on it during the week. Said he wants to hire someone who runs an efficient system, aligns with his beliefs and values, but we're not looking for a choir boy. Also said, quote, you certainly want people that those they've worked with have good things to say about them, their leadership style, their energy, what kind of teammate they are, their toughness, their ability to recruit, their ability to adapt, their humanity, the things that they value. With all that, maybe it doesn't all have to fit in a nice, tidy box either. But maybe what did they play in college? Did they play in college? Some of the best ones never even played again. So you always have a perspective with all of it. Where have they been? What's the tape say? Have they been able to be successful with the hand that they've been dealt? So you look at all of that. Sounds pretty thorough. Coach V tends to get a little bit thorough in any of his pressers, and that's okay. I like hearing the dude talk. He also said, he messed up. If you will, I hired the wrong guy. It obviously wasn't the right guy. That's not centered on Seth. I failed and I own that. That's not earth-shattering news. Okay, what do I got to do to fix it? So what do we have to do as a staff now? Doesn't sound like a dude with his head in the clouds to me. Sounds like he's right on the pulse and on the verge of doing something really special here. So all these busters out there talking about moving on, shut up. STFU, okay? BV is the guy. He's got to nail this hire. I think he will. I think after what we saw on Saturday night, if you can get a team to play like that when there's, not a lot at stake, what does that say about the message? It means that the players are still getting it. You see the effort. That's coaching. It's getting the right kids, coaching them up the right way, and the results will come. It's not what we've wanted this year, but you know what? They won their biggest game. So you got to give them credit for that. And in doing so, BV was named the Bear Bryant Awards Fan Favorite Coach of the Week. Pretty fitting that it's named after former Bama coach Paul Bear Bryant. We knew he retired as the winningest coach in major college football, and we talked about it. Sooners fell behind 3-0, and then scored 24 unanswered. Held the top 10 team to 3 points. First time they've done that in 20 years. Last time was a 12-0 win over the 5th-ranked Texas Longhorns, 2 S's. And it was also the first time an unranked Oklahoma has beaten a top 10 opponent at home since 1990. Yum, yum, yum. And the Sooners, first team to hold Bama without a touchdown since 2011. The first to limit them to 3 points or less since 2004. Alabama, 234 total yards. Oklahoma, 257 yards rushing. That's a beatdown. That's a championship defense. Offense. If we can continue to run the rock like that, there is good things in our future. And with the youth at running back, sky is the limit, man. If we can just start next season healthy, it's got potential, people. But we still have 2 more games. Why do we have 2? Because that win over Bama made the Sooners bowl eligible for the 26th year in a row. That's second, right behind Georgia, sitting 27 years in a row. So congratulations to these Sooners. Can we carry that momentum forward to the big game on Saturday night? And if you're saying, Case, why are you wearing that gross-ass sweatshirt again? Because I'm superstitious. We beat the Tide in this thing, so what could it hurt if I wear it again? And I'll keep wearing it if we keep winning. So hopefully I have to wear this next week and then the bowl game and all of next season. I'm willing to do that, people. If it means we're winning football games, I'm going to do my part. Let's take it back to Saturday. This Saturday coming up, it's our 6-5 Oklahoma Sooners at the 7-4 LSU Tigers. Bet Online has those Tigers at 6-point favorites. And this will be the fourth time that we've played these guys. They lead the all-time series 2-1. And I don't want to bring up this memory, but we have to. The last time we played, 2019, college football semifinal. An undefeated 14-0 LSU Tigers kicked the crap out of our number 4, 12-2 Sooners. 63-28, and I'm not sure it was that close. It was 49-14 at halftime. Joe Shiesty going on the all-time heater. I don't know that there's ever been a better season than what that cat was doing. And against us, holy smokes, 29-39, 493 yards, 7 touchdowns. And it could have been worse. Jalen Hurts did not have it that night, 15-31, 217 and an interception. Sooners under 100 yards rushing. This game got out of control so quickly, though, that they couldn't really stick with the run. On top of their 532 total pass yards, Bama added another 160. Did they? I don't know if Bama had any players. Oh, Justin, what's that? Oh, Jefferson, 14, 227 and 4 touchdowns. What's that guy been doing? Terrace Marshall, 6 for 82 touchdowns. Oh, we held Jamar Chase to just 2 receptions for 61 yards and no touchdown. In your face. In your face, Jamar Chase. Couldn't even score on us. That team was stacked, baby. Oh, my God. And like I said, Burrow putting together a season like none other. It was an absolute ass kicking. But that team did go on to win the Natty. And what a season. Holy smokes, that was a good team. This year's LSU is still pretty good. Not like that team. They're coming off a 24-17 win over Vandy. That stopped a 3-game losing streak. And Garrett Nussmeier was pretty good last week, 28-37, 322 and a touchdown. As a team, they rushed for 142 yards, 4.9 a carry. Josh Williams doing most of the damage there, 2 touchdowns as well. Kieran Lacey, their leading receiver, he had 6 for 85 and a TD last week. Aaron Anderson, 6 for 65. And on the year, Nussmeier, 290, 459, almost 3,500 yards, 23 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Caden Durham, their leading rusher on the year, he's got 609 yards and 6 TDs. And Kyron Lacey, 825 on 55 grabs and 8 TDs. And LSU's been kind of up and down. Like I said, 3 straight losses before they beat Vandy last week. And if you look into those games, why did they struggle? Well, that first loss was to A&M. Nussmeier, 3 interceptions. Okay, well, what did their defense do? Defense gave up on 49 carries, 242 yards, almost 5 yards of carry and 5 touchdowns. Okay. Well, against Alabama, Nussmeier with another 2 interceptions. Well, the rush defense couldn't have been any worse. Wrong. 49 carries, 311 yards, 6.5 per carry, 6 touchdowns. Are you kidding me? And then Nussmeier was okay against Florida, 27-47, 260, a TD, no interceptions. And that defense, only 17 rushes, but 113 yards, 6.6 per carry, and 2 touchdowns. So we've seen a theme here. When Nussmeier takes care of the football, this is a really good team, and they can hang with anybody, if not beat some of those teams. But that run defense has not been good, and the Sooners are coming off a game where they put up almost 300 against Alabama. I think I know what the formula for this game is going to be, or what it needs to be, and they better stick to it. The quarterback that makes the most mistakes, that team is going to lose this game. The defense that gives up all those rushing yards is going to lose this game. That's why it's stacking up to be doable for the Sooners. Will they be overwhelmed by the environment? I don't know. That is a tough, tough place to play at night. Cats are going to be straight lubed, ready for that night start. Can Oklahoma build off of that success they had last week against Alabama? That's not something that's been consistent week to week. But are we finally getting there on this season? Boy, it'd be nice to hit that Bama win, get a win here, and then win a bowl game. Finish 8-5, feeling good about things. And losing this game doesn't erase what happened last week. Last week was a season-saving win that we had to have, and I think it had a huge impact on what happens in this offseason and moving forward. That won't change with the loss in here, but let's not mess around. Let's go ahead and get another win. Because when it gets to a bowl game, we don't know who's going to play in that thing. A lot of these seniors might be sitting out, and you would not blame them if they did, because it's on to the next level. It's on to making business decisions. And we've seen players get hurt in bowl games before, so you wouldn't want that for anybody. So we understand that a little bit. But this game got a chance to be 2 games over 500. I think the first time since like week 2 or whatever it was, maybe week 3. Let's do it. Let's end this regular season the right way. Let's send everybody out completely stoked, especially all these seniors. How cool would it be for Stutz and Bowman and all those guys to go to LSU and get a huge win at night in front of all those Louisiana lunatics? Be pretty epic, I think. Contain their run game. It hasn't been, at times it's been explosive, but if we can contain that, make Nussmeier be the guy to beat us, and he is capable. But if we can get that pressure like we were bringing last week against Milroe, had homie seeing ghosts last week. They were swarming him. If we can keep them in passing situations, let them boys eat. Let our Mason eat. Let Stutz and these linebackers eat. Maybe Kip's got another Kip 6 in there. Back end, doing great work too. Hopefully it's all come together, and this is what it is moving forward. We're going to find out on Saturday night, and I am completely stoked. So a couple nights ago, we got the 12-team playoff. Not much of a change in there. Top 4 stay. They don't stay unchanged. Number 1, Oregon. Number 2, Texas. Number 3, Miami. Number 4, Boise State. We see a new team in here. Number 12, Arizona State. As it is, these first-round games, it would be Arizona State at the Ohio State. Tennessee at Georgia in a rematch. Indiana and Penn State. And SMU at Notre Dame. Wow. How good is this thing going to be? Still lots of movement to be had on this. Bama and Ole Miss going down, falling right out of that thing. I don't know. It could be 3 or less SEC teams when all is said and done. Lots of football left to be played, though. So this thing is by far from complete. Got this last week. Then the conference championships, and then we'll know exactly what's going on, and it is going to be completely awesome. That being said, there is some sweet, sweet week 14 action, and what is uber tasty is we get a little college football on Friday. I mentioned Boise State there as the 4 seed right now. They are hosting Oregon State. Bet Online has Boise as 18-point favorites. Ashton Genty last week, 19 carries, 169 yards, and a touchdown. On the season, 275 carries, 2,062 yards, and 27 touchdowns. That's your Heisman Trophy winner right there. I know they love the quarterbacks, but we haven't seen a season like this in who knows how long. And these offenses are set up for these QBs to put up sick numbers. It ain't set up to have someone go over 2,000. But I think Genty would give up that Heisman to get into the playoffs. And as it's set now, they just have to win this and then their conference championship. And then they are in, people, okay? That would be pretty sweet. The Pokes play on Friday, too, against Colorado. Colorado, brutal. They had pretty much a sweet path to the playoff. Sconzo. I mean, I think there's a way they can still get into the Big 12 championship, but I don't know what that entails. There's a lot of permeations in what can happen with this final week going on. But they are hosting a 3-8 Oklahoma State that is 0-8 in conference play. That is brutal, people. Does Mike Stoops even want to be? I mean, Gundy. Oops, I almost dropped an F-bomb. Does he even want to be there? I don't know, man. No wins in conference play. And there's 16.5-point dogs on the road. Ooh, that is not a good situation there at all. Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Ole Miss. Brutal loss at Florida last week. Oh, my goodness. They had it all right there. I don't know that I've ever seen a coach as dejected as Lane Kiffin was after last week. Had it all right there waiting for them. And they could not get it done. And remember, they were running Billy Napier out of town down there in Tallahassee. Florida's turned it on, baby. They're now up at 6-5. Huge win against those Rebs last week, knocking them right out of the playoffs. Starting to get it together there, and that is a good thing for Florida. You got to love to see that progression that has happened. So good for them. Nebraska gets bowl eligible last week with the huge win over Wisconsin. They're at Iowa. The Hawkeyes are 3.5-point favorites in that one. Could we potentially see an OU Nebraska bowl game? I don't know what the Big Ten and SEC ties are, but that could be a pretty sweet game. Oh, Army had it all right there in front of you, and they went and got absolutely blowed out by the Fighting Irish. Oh. Yeah, 49-14. Rough day for the Cadets, and that game was over pretty early. Notre Dame's just got to go. They got to come here to LA, baby, and kick the crap out of Tebow's Trojans, and that will secure Notre Dame's spot in the 12-team playoff. So I like it when SC loses. I am not going to lie. That is one of my favorite times of the day Looking over at Lincoln, he's like, I don't know what's going on. Oh man! So far, the mecca of college football is not what he had promised. I'm not seeing it so far. I know it takes a while to turn it around, but those Trojans are 7.5-point underdogs at home. And I don't know that I will ever root for a Lincoln Riley team to win anything. I just, had he manned up and been truthful on that, I think Sooner Nation would have been far more forgiving, but came out, lied, and now he's dead to us, and we hope that he loses every single week. How sexy was this last year? Michigan and Ohio State. This game has been so important to the landscape of the college football playoff in years past when there was only 4 teams. Now there's 12. The game doesn't have as much meaning, and part of that is because Michigan is not playing so well this year, which is to be very understandable. They lost half of their staff. They lost half of their players, including their quarterback and running back, defensive coordinator, head coach. So the result is BetOnline has the Ohio State Buckeyes as 21-point favorites in that game. And last week, Ohio State put a beat down on Indiana 38-15. So Ohio State is looking pretty tough with Howard there at quarterback. Looking for a rematch with the Oregon Ducks. Both those teams probably, definitely, absolutely get in no matter what happens in that game. So, the previous game, Oregon finds a way to win that. That was at Oregon. This one will be at a neutral site. And there'll probably be a bunch more Ohio State fans there than there will be Oregon Ducks. We'll see, though. Oregon travels pretty well, but there's going to be a lot of red in the house in 2 weeks unless something crazy happens and they drop this game, but I do not foresee that happening. What else we got? Tennessee. They just got to handle Vandy, and they're going to be in that playoff too. So big game for the Vols. They got stoked out with Auburn beating Texas A&M and our Sooners dominating Alabama. Did I mention the Sooners beat the crap out of Bama 24-3 last Saturday? I don't know if I mentioned that on the show before. But yeah, so Tennessee, hype. Sending a big thank you to our Oklahoma Sooners because of that. Big game right here, people. Number 15, South Carolina. At number 12, Clemson. South Carolina at 8-3. Clemson at 9-2. Clemson looking to get into the ACC championship there. South Carolina, man, playing some really good football. And if they can find a way to win this game, it's going to be tough. Then they might be able to backdoor it into that 12-team playoff. They need some stuff to kind of go their way to make sure that happens. But it's totally possible. I don't know that anybody – there's not a lot of teams, if any, that are playing better than Beamer's Cox right now. And we had all buried Clemson at the beginning of the season, said that, Dabo's got to adjust. He's got to change the game. You have to live in this portal. And he said, nope, I'm doing it my way. And here he is on the precipice of yet another ACC championship. If he gets past Beamer and these Cox, then they will have a date in that game. And it's a 3-way tie up at the top of the ACC. Clemson, Miami, and SMU. Clemson just 2.5-point favorites in this game. Huge implications everywhere in that. And that might be the biggest overall game that we have this weekend because so much matters for both of those teams. The other side of that is Miami at Syracuse. Miami needs to win. so they can try to get into that ACC championship. Miami's been a good team, but they've really needed every bit of that clock in a lot of games to overcome some early deficits. And to their credit, they've come out and won some games that looked like they had no business winning. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if Clemson and Miami and SMU all win. I don't know what the tiebreaker situation will be on that, but if all of those three teams win, does the team that gets asked out of the ACC championship get in to the 12-team playoff? I mean, you could definitely argue for that. I don't see why they would not. So that is also another huge game, and we're not exactly going to know what happens in that conference until that ACC championship. But pretty big games for both of those teams for Saturday, for all three of those teams, I should say. And the Qs, that can be a little tricky to play late in the season. You never know how that thing's going to work out. Little road game, lots of orange in the stadium. I don't know, man. We're going to find out. And speaking of SMU, they're hosting Cal. They should blow right through those Cats. SMU, a very complete team. They got the one loss to BYU early on, and since then it's been all wins. So I think actually Clemson needs one of those two teams to lose to get in the mix. And then I don't know what the tie-breaking situation for the ACC is if we have two lost teams. But it's going to be pretty interesting to watch. I'm definitely rooting for SMU to be the team that gets into that championship and gets into the playoffs. Oh, the Iron Bowl. Auburn tries to ruin A&M's season. Does a pretty good job. Now they don't have to ruin Bama's season. Sooners did that for them. But this is still a huge game. Auburn at Alabama. Can Bama bounce back after that devastating loss? Can they get up for this rivalry game? They should be able to. And Auburn is really just a few plays away from their season being a lot different. But boy, wouldn't it feel good to put that fourth loss on Bama and absolutely remove them from any shot of anything. Ooh, in-state rival. Would love, love, love that. Although Bama is 11.5-point favorites, probably going to come into this one pretty pissed off and probably handle their business. We mentioned these guys, the Arizona State Sun Devils, 9-2, 16. They're at Arizona, right down the street. Arizona, I thought would challenge for the Big 12 this year. Disappointing 4-7. It's just not worked out well for those guys. Arizona State has everything right there in front of them. If they win out, they're in, baby. This is a huge game. Those Cats would love to stick that pitchfork in the devil. We will see what happens. That is going to be a fun game. Indiana's just got to survive Purdue, which should be no problem. And they will be in the 12-team playoff. See how they respond for their first whooping of the year. They are probably, like I said, still in, even with losing to Ohio State last week. But we've seen crazier stuff happen, but I fully expect them to bounce back against Purdue. Washington at Oregon. Oh, baby, we saw this game twice last year, once in the Pac-12 championship and once in the regular season. And the Huskies had just a little too much for the Ducks last year. This year, not so much. DG and those Ducks, 18.5-point favorites, the only undefeated team left in the mix. They're already in the Big Ten championship, but they would love to go into that thing undefeated, 12-0, and then we're probably getting that rematch with Ohio State. I think that is what's going to happen, but as crazy as football, especially college football, has been these last few weeks, who the hell knows what's going to happen this weekend, but I am completely stoked for that game, and I would love to see DG take these guys undefeated into the 12-team playoff. Kansas State at Iowa State, Wildcats 24, Cyclones. Almost called them the Hawkeyes. Cyclones coming in at 9-2. I'm not sure how the Big 12 tiebreakers are working there, but I think if Iowa State runs the table, they can get back into the Big 12 championship. They're 2.5-point favorites in this game. Little disappointment for both of these squads, but it feels good to win this last game and find out what happens. And then it's Texas, the number 3 ranked Longhorns, at number 20, Texas A&M. And last week, Texas A&M loses a heartbreaker in quadruple overtime. Ugh, brutal. At Auburn. That's a long-ass game. Are they going to have the energy to beat one of their old-school hated rivals? I hope so. So far, Texas is a 5-point favorite on the road. That's got to piss those Aggies off, right? Texas has everything they want right in front of them. They're the number 1 team in the SEC right now. Barf. They win this, they roll right into the conference championship. So what can the Aggies do? Can they find a way to beat these Longhorns? I mean, it might be my Sooner goggles that I like to wear, but Texas is good, but I don't think they're the best team in the country by any means. I think they're very beatable. Come at me, bro. You think I care what you think, Longhorn? No, I don't. You can cry about it. Boy, but that'd have been a sexier game had A&M found a way to beat Auburn, drop the tying 2-pointer in that 4th overtime. They were down early in that game, and it looked like they were going to get blowed out, and they got back in it. Actually had to lead late. Auburn forced it into overtime, and then they just could not finish the job. But it would feel pretty sweet to ruin Texas's run, right? That's something at least. Get through all these games, have a much clearer picture of what we're going to see. And then the following week is conference championship weekend. Following that, we get all the playoff matchups and we get all the bowl games, find out where the Sooners are going and who they'll be playing. Michigan is out there. Kansas is out there. Nebraska is out there. If you ask this guy who he wants to play, give me those suck Trojans, baby. Give me the Tebows. Las Vegas Bowl or something like that. Shit, if it's a Las Vegas Bowl, I might have to do a little roadie and get out there. Go to Allegiant Stadium, watch the Sooners, kick the shit out of those Trojans. We waited late into the show to start working blue, but hey, why not? Who cares, right? Come on. Oh, that would be sweet. Beat those damn Crimson Tide, done. Try to beat those stupid LSU Tigers, done. Bowl game. Tebow's Trojans, hell yes, I am here for it. Give it to me. Come on. That's what I want. Okay? Let's see if we can make that happen. Oh, it is good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, head on over to Believe.com. That's BLEAV.com. Go to shows, type in Sooner State of Mind, and you are locked. We have a ton of great content. Every team, every topic, everywhere. believe.com. And I told you at the top of the show, baby, subscribe to Sooner State of Mind, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. It's everywhere, people, and it is absolutely free. Go subscribe so you do not miss a show. And if you want to watch Sooner State of Mind, head on over to YouTube, search the Football Dudes. We are there. Sooner State of Mind is brought to you by Bet Online. I want to wish everybody out there a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Get some good grub in, hang with the fam, watch a little football, and get ready for Saturday. All right? My name is Casey Mallon, and I am in a Sooner State of Mind.